Good afternoon, people. How are we today? Here we are at lovely Kep. I'm on the pier. This is the pier that you go to if you want to get a boat over to Koh Tonsei, Rabbit Island, for a day trip or to stay a night or two. It's a lovely spot. A little bit of wind, so I hope it doesn't affect the audio quality too much. And that is Vietnam over there. I've been over the border recently, but I can't spot where the demarcation is from here, but some of that land you can see there is Vietnam. So I'm going to take us for a ride today from the pier around to the famous Kep crab market, and I'll be grabbing something to eat there. So join me as we take a tour through Kep town. Sleepy little hollow for the elites, very quiet place. It's starting to really develop. I've been driving around today having a look, and there's been so much change here since the last time I had a really good look around. When I lived in Sihanoukville for 15 years, once or twice, maybe 3 times a year, me and my partner used to, after the busy seasons, we used to have a 3 or 4 night stay here in Kep because it was just so lovely and quiet. And it's still quiet. It's always going to be a very chill place. Cambodia's everywhere is nearly chill, but Kep is especially so. Surrounded by lovely jungle covered mountains still, which is wonderful. It's lasted this long, so hopefully it'll remain that way and they won't ever be cleared. There's some eateries at the end of the pier. It's very quiet today. I know on holidays and weekends Kep gets busier. A lot of the wealthier people in Phnom Penh have holiday homes or weekend holidays down here, and it can get really packed. Roads in Kep are the best in Cambodia because of the elites all having their hideaways here. Along the way we'll pass one of the royal family's residences, which is situated of course on a wonderful promontory with probably the best location in town. When I first came here 20 something years ago, half the buildings in town were just abandoned shells from the Civil War, and it used to fascinate me that such prime real estate was left empty. But they're starting to fill over the years, but I did notice there are still a couple, not as many as there once were, and that's a lovely building in there. I wandered in there one day thinking it was a government building. No, it's a private residence. Dates back to when this was a colonial era getaway for the French elite and the royal family. This town has deep connections with the royals. Kep, I believe, is the smallest province, up there with Pailin in size, probably smaller in population and area. Or beachfront land. Wonder how long that'll remain vacant. Although most of it is not really what you'd regard as beach. It's a rocky shore with a little bit of mud and sand along here. Kep Beach, which we'll pass, has sand. The sand was naturally black, volcanic, but golden sand has been imported and put on it to make it look nicer. There's your accommodation choices if you're coming to Kep. There's a very large range from budget backpacker to top end. You'll find it all online. I'm no expert, I've only stayed at a couple of places here. The problem is when you live somewhere, you rarely know the accommodation because you're staying in your own home. When I was living in Sihanoukville, as I said, I used to come here on holidays, but I found a place that I liked, beach house, and I stuck with it because it's within walking distance of the beach, great view up on a hill, swimming pool. Food was not great, but I had breakfast there and just other meals at other places. It's in a central location. If you stay off the central locations in Kep Pier, you're going to need your own motorbike. It's a low population, but it's pretty spread out, the township. There's the Rock Royal Hotel. Who needs shop premises when you can just sell on the street? Close shop on the street. It's the dirtiest I've ever seen it. It must be the detritus left over from New Year's. Kep is usually spotless. Another beachside snack area. Those huts are run by ladies who rent them out to you. You're expected to eat. If you don't eat, you're going to have to pay for the use of those huts. Of course, they rent them, so you've got to get a return. There's a tourist. It's the peak tourist season, and there are tourists in Kep. I've seen them while driving around, but nowhere near even what you get in Camp Hot, let alone Siem Reap or the islands. Public art is very big in Cambodia. The famous Kep blue crab. And this is a private compound. All those buildings along there. I wouldn't hazard the guess to say who owns it, but whoever they are is obviously well connected. They have that land and all of it. Some more tourists. And I doubt if you'll pick it up in the distance, but my camera's pointing directly at Phu Quoc Island, which must have some high mountains on it because it's 30-40 kilometres away, and it's poking up a fair way to the sky even from this distance. And just coming into view, you can see her cute buttocks. There's the mermaid statue. As I said, public art is popular. When I first arrived, a lot of the public art seemed to have been paid for by the UN, and I think it was just a way of injecting money into the economy as much as anything. But here we are, Kep Beach. Beautiful, very flat, no waves, just relax. There's the beach house I was telling you about. Now, last time I checked, the room was still $20. This place used to always fascinate me. The big building in the middle is original, dating from the colonial era, but in all my years coming here, it and the land surrounding it have always been under construction and never actually opened as a hotel resort, whatever they're planning for it. No idea what's going on. It's one of the best locations in Kep, but it's still a work in progress for 2 decades. We're in Cambodia, there's no rush. And this is pretty much the centre of Kep Township. A few eateries in there, cafes, and I haven't been in to have a look yet. Last time I was here, there's accommodation and a range of different shops. Now that looks so flat. It almost looks like a river, but that's the ocean. Where I come from, you're fighting cold waves all year round in southern Australia along the Great Ocean Road, where I grew up. And this is all new. This has always been vacant before, but the government have built shop fronts here. I assume it's the government because it's government land. All the shops are identical and they've been rented out to Cambodians to run. Quiet day today. Buses. I have noticed quite a few domestic tourists here today. Cambodians most likely from Phnom Penh. There is a real difference in income levels between Phnom Penh and the rest of the country for most people. But the cost of living in Phnom Penh is also a lot more. And it has changed, grown and developed so much. When I first came to Phnom Penh, there was hardly any traffic. If someone owned a Camry, they were considered rich. There were no skyscrapers. Now it's just everyone's got an SUV and there's skyscrapers from horizon to horizon. That's Bokor off in the distance. I don't know if the camera will pick it up. Jungle coloured covered mountainside. Heading there, we're close to the entrance to it. This is a royal compound, or so I was told years ago. Assume it would never change hands. And I'll never probably get a look inside, but I'd love to. Not exactly circles that I tend to mix in the royal family, unfortunately. But if any of you are listening, I'm open for an invite. That's the entrance to the royal compound. And these stalls here are new too. I was looking around them before. It looks like they've been built in anticipation of the future. None of them were actually open, and there are only a few that were fitted out as shops. It looks like it's yet to take off, but it will. Like when I first came here, even the crab market, half those shops were empty. Now they're all occupied and pretty famous. So I'm going to be heading down, picking out one of them to eat in, and if all goes well, I'll film from the crab market. So that should be in the video following this, if everything works out. Sometimes I forget to push record though, or other things happen, so I miss some things. And they've also built out here onto the water. I'm not sure what for. Might be to receive boats, or it might be just a festival area. But this has all been reclaimed from the sea. And here's the start of the crab market. I'll finish out at the festival, but that... Oh, shit. Now I'm going to finish up here because my hat's fallen off. But I'll be doing one more video on the crab market, and we'll see you in then when I'm eating. Catch you guys.